Frameworks, their utility, and pursuit of the ideal, laying a foundation for further exploration. By Brooks Crenshaw. June 2, 2024. Note, this article is the first in a series that will explore the useful concept of frameworks and their applications. Throughout the series, we'll examine how these frameworks influence our understanding of the world, our roles within it, and how they guide our actions and decisions. Most people take for granted the idea that there is a series of buildings within a series of institutions wherein experts have a solid handle on most things, but the reality is a bit more nuanced. These experts rely on frameworks to navigate the unknown, making assumptions that best predict outcomes, though the essence of these subjects often remains a mystery. While it's important to maintain faith in the pursuit of knowledge, it's also incumbent on us to recognize the perverse incentives and limitations that these experts face. This dynamic spans across all fields, suggesting that our grasp on knowledge is expansive though surprisingly limited. We'll explore how these frameworks shape our understanding of reality and how they can help you navigate it more effectively. Drawing from my diverse experiences and fortunate interactions with experts across many various fields, I have gained a unique glimpse into the limits of our knowledge. Although we have many useful frameworks that serve as predictive tools or temporary placeholders, they also highlight how much remains to be discovered. This realization has shown me that, in reality, we still know relatively little. Sure, we know a lot more than people in 1800, that looks like a hockey stick in terms of technological advancements and our understanding of the universe. But that is similar to the notion that a child's odds of drowning increase up to 2,400% if the family owns a pool. While that is a massive increase, the national odds are still something in the neighborhood of 51,000%. What we know seems insignificantly minuscule compared to all there is to know. If you've ever served in the military, particularly in a ground unit, or at least participated in some form of land navigation via the old ways of map and compass, you recognize the military map protractor in the image above. A transparent square that enables the user to navigate and orienteer by laying it onto a physical map for the purposes of accurately plotting coordinates, measuring distances, and determining direction in degrees. I'm using this example because it was my first realization that I was using a framework in a manner that provided a useful definition of the concept. A framework mapped onto a two-dimensional simulation of geographic reality. It is the framework mapped onto reality that will be universal in the concepts to follow. But it is imperfect. Transposing the Earth's sphere onto a two-dimensional flat map, as with the Mercator projection, distorts geography at the edges, exaggerating size in relation to the poles. As with most any framework, it fails at the edges but has true utility in its central focus. After separating from service and having worked in some of the most elite units in the U.S. military, I looked for another course to plot. I attended university, ultimately studying political science and business as I completed a final 2 years of undergrad while working multiple Nashville startups and then on to pursue an MBA at Vanderbilt. During that time, I was introduced to many frameworks over which to map reality in the context of business. Many of Michael Porter's frameworks were used, as his work is instrumental in the discipline of business strategy, to better navigate a business scenario, his 5 forces model being the most dominant in the field. I immediately made the association back to the map protractor, as it was the same concept at a high level of analysis. Each of the frameworks has its limitations. The map protractor can approximate where, and inform how, i.e., not through this canyon, but probably around it. Provide one variable, distance, in the equation for when. But never explain why. While Porter's frameworks, and business frameworks in general, aim to be completely exhaustive, this completeness applies only within the business context and is time-limited. They do not consider what happens if the playing field of business falls into geopolitically adversarial hands or the market itself is degraded by decisions made that appear in the short term to provide strategic advantage. Indeed, every useful framework has its limits. Whether Newtonian gravity, which works quite well in terrestrial contexts, or its successors, Einstein's theories of special and general relativity, which offer great utility but strain under certain circumstances, such as at the quantum scale, in which case the framework of quantum mechanics takes over, and so on. And that's all to say we still don't really know why or how gravity acts as it does. We simply have models that work for predicting the behavior of gravity within each model's respective domains, but they don't explain the essence of gravity. In my consulting work in more recent years, especially in advanced technology research, I've had the privilege of collaborating with leading experts in both academia and industry. This work spans a diverse range of cutting-edge fields, including metamaterials, quantum computing, portable nuclear microreactor technology, and positioning, navigation, timing, or PNT technology. Much of my work required me to question many specialists at the top of their fields at MIT, Harvard, and Stanford, among many others. I am always amazed at how often the answer to one of my questions is, well, we don't exactly know that yet. This constant encounter with the boundaries of our knowledge has reinforced my understanding of how frameworks, while useful, are inherently limited. This brings us to consider the various frameworks that shape our understanding of reality and their historical and cultural significance. In any culture, one could imagine a series of stacked frameworks layered over reality, like clear protractors stacked on a map. In the West, with a significant portion of its foundation found in the Judeo-Christian corpus, with which my relationship is complicated, more to come in future content. This foundation has added significance in that it was imported, which underscores the humility required in further cultivating a culture that recognizes its own deficiencies. In addition to existing Greek and Roman philosophy, the biblical corpus includes notions of basic law that persist to date. It further includes structural notions of neither Jew nor Greek, bond nor free, and the dichotomy of render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's, as an injunction that the latter is a personal endeavor, and not one of state or other collective coercion, backed by force. Add to these frameworks that are backed with force, like the Magna Carta, which secured the concept of individual liberty, and British common law. Consider also the U.S. Constitution, another foundational framework designed to protect the individual from the collective. It checks state power across multiple scaffolds of tripartite federal government with 18 enumerated powers. Further, its federalist system reserves all other functions to lower levels of authority, from the state to municipal, county, voluntary associations like homeowners and professional associations, the household, and finally, the individual, which is the paramount value within this framework. Traditions are experiments that worked, though they are incomplete, as we are. And we abandon them casually at our peril. But as reality shifts and morphs across time, new traditions are a necessity, as is letting those that no longer serve us fall away. The latter requires great discernment, lest we lose something we didn't know we needed until it is lost, forgotten, and unrecoverable. This fear was profoundly validated by Friedrich Nietzsche as he predicted nihilism, moral relativism, disorientation, and tyranny through will to power, though he was a proponent of the concept, and complacent mediocrity after the West's jettisoning of structural narrative frameworks that had underpinned it for centuries. While he was largely in favor of the jettisoning in general, making one's own values has proven more impossible than the philologist claimed. Understand here, that while Nietzsche rightly identified these pitfalls in parts of his work, he was both rightly, and at times in my estimation, wrongly, a critic of the Christian institution and the biblical narrative in general. I here have the benefit of hindsight of the 20th century that Nietzsche never lived to see, and with that unfair advantage make my own claims on that which he got right and what escaped, even him. Re-examining this trade-off and salvaging what is structurally necessary is a significant portion of my life's aim. Exploring reality requires a compass, or more precisely, a series of compasses to navigate many of its different dimensions and aspects. But it also demands curiosity and a devotion to discovering what is objectively true, and where each truth subordinates itself in priority within the hierarchy of some truth. This series will explore the utility of frameworks and my perspective on their application, from the use of story as a complex tapestry of frameworks, as with the biblical corpus, to concepts of general human incentive structure, and beyond. We'll explore many of the frameworks that shape our understanding of reality, our role within it, and how best to navigate it. Brooks Crenshaw is a writer, columnist, and speaker who focuses primarily on philosophy, economics, and history, particularly the importance of story. With a background as a naval special warfare intelligence professional and an economic advisor and director of research for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, he holds an MBA from Vanderbilt University. We hope you have enjoyed this audio version of the Daedalus Thread Substack publication. If you'd like to support our work and stay updated on future articles, please subscribe to the Daedalus Thread at brookscrenshaw.substack.com. And follow on Twitter X, @CrenshawActual for more insights and discussions. Thank you for listening.
This has been a Daedalus Thread production. All rights reserved.